I used to always be late. All
All
right.
good things worth waiting for, Todd.
All right, let's see. Here we go. Let me let me go in here and turn on the comments on Facebook and I'll tag you.
I got all family and friends watching from WA and New South Wales.
Really? Far
Uh-huh.
out. Far
Giving me
out.
messages last night.
Oh, hang on 1 second. There you are. All right. Gotcha. All right. Looks like we're in. We're live on X and YouTube. We've got one person, two people in the house on Facebook. And yeah, here we are. This is what, episode 38, right?
Yeah.
Episode
I think,
38. And we got our God, how long has it been since we've first
well,
I was
it's
in
been,
Hawaii,
well,
so
first,
it was
yeah, I know.
2019. So it's been 6 years, and
Yeah.
this is episode 38. And you know, I've talked about trying to be in a sacred space and just, coming butt naked to the soul and see what happens. And one of the things that I've discovered in 37, now 38 episodes is I'm sure people can see the change in me and I can see the change in people. And you look like a totally different person. So, everybody, welcome to the show. It is
Mhm.
the podcast that is number 38, Jennifer Generation X from Australia down under. Um,
Yes,
Talk to me. Thank you for
I did
coming.
that. I
Thank you.
did that, Todd, after I think last time we spoke, I'd ousted out the Queen on the coast and they took my original Facebook account. That's where we were at. And then I just moved from the beach through all that suppression time to back to the bush because they said tools down, and Damo was working the construction. And so he had to go and do something else. So we knew that he'd come out bush and he's been working with the cotton. So we came out here and then I was just so happy just to be back on country. And it's been 3 years now since that time. And in insurmountable changes and just beauty of life. So the work again, Damo being the worker, day in, day out, 12-hour shifts, 12 days straight, and then 2 days off, and then you do it at night for this cotton, this rotten cotton, to get it in. Do you know that in actual fact, it takes just one being drinking water for 25 years to make 2 items of cotton?
Hmm.
That's why they're here on the floodplains for all the water. So
Yeah.
in this nature of this work, I was bearing witness because that's what we do. We bear witness to each other. And I bear witness to his slow decline with the chemical all around him, everything. And it's that thing where the men are put to work and in effect they're only there. It's not the good work, it's a job. The true meaning of a job is a heist. And it's taking away his time, his energy, and everything just so he can have access to his securities, which is, of course, the bond from the birth certificates. So when you're learning all of this, as I do, as we do, and all of the, well, chessboard
Can
of
I,
this
can I,
space.
there's a, there's a lag. I'm sorry. Can
Oh,
I just interject something only because I talked to my oldest son right
yes,
before this show. Um,
yes.
and we hadn't talked in a while, but it's that type of connection where it's always good, you know? And so he was telling me about he'd been watching this show called Severance, I believe, uh, on Apple TV. And the theme, it's like, you know, a season's like 2 seasons or whatever, but the theme is that it's an environment where there's some level of control from a central location and you're yourself. Like, you know, you come home, you know, after work and whatever you do at night and the, you know, whatever. But when you enter this certain space and go to work per se, you become a different person. And when you were saying what you're saying as you're talking about this, and I'm thinking about masculine, feminine, and how do you speak the same language or, you know, have the one voice, I think you're bringing up a really good example. And I'm not saying from a victim consciousness standpoint, but I'm saying our masculine energy was hijacked in one way, our feminine energy was hijacked in another way. And the masculine story is exactly what you're saying. And I think there's some relevance to what my son was telling me about this show, because like you become a different person. And
He's onto it.
in the show, the men, you know, is the way I'm seeing it. I'm not, you know, I'm sure I'm biased or whatever, but I think there's a point to it because the feminine energy has expressed herself for 12 plus years in these groups and such. Um, and she let us know from the beginning who she is. And I think we're starting to figure out who the man is by virtue of understanding what he came through, which is, I think, what you're talking about. So please continue with your story and
Yeah.
thank you.
Hi, blessings, toddler. So it's happening everywhere right now. And what it is it's actually called the egregore. So it's a spirit that is formed because, as you know, one and one makes three, not two. So you know you get together with someone else, and then there's a third energy made. It just is. And so what happens is when in the work environment, this egregore, which is the energy of all of them, because they're feeling like shit, whatever job or this, that, the other, they're thinking that they'd rather be there or here or, oh no, I have to do this, that. You don't have to do anything. And it's awful. It's a programming. And of course, it's the big central one because, you know, how am I going to eat? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Well, it all works. So it all happens once you surrender, everything falls into place. So without that egregore, you can think clearly. You can feel, you can, I mean, that's the one that's holding it down. I liken it to, do you remember Monkey? Did you ever watch Monkey? You know that show? And he used to call down, and Tributaka, and he used to call down his cloud, and he used to whistle and go, and then this pink cloud used to come down, and then he used to jump on it, and off he'd go on his little adventures. Did you ever know Monkey, Todd?
No, no.
Monkey Magic.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't hear. What's going on? Hang on.
No, I had my mic off. No, I
Oh, you
haven't heard of
did.
it. No,
I'm
no, no,
asking you a question. And not
no, no,
knowing I can't
no.
hear.
No, I
You
haven't.
never got to see Monkey Magic.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay.
But let
Oh,
me ask you the
yeah.
correlation between your personal journey as you were describing it very quick, and I think I might be more familiar with it because I know where you're coming from. Like we didn't just do shows together; we kind of touched base, whatever, over the years. But so you were saying how you were in this one environment, then you went out to the bush, and I believe
Mm-hmm.
one of the shows we did, you were in the bush with your
Yes.
family, and he was and your partner was out working, and you were talking about, and it may be the same period. You were talking about the 3 year period or something like that where you saw this, what was happening. And then I said, oh my God, that sounds like what my son was telling me. Is there a period from that point to now? And
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And what happened in that? Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So while I'm experiencing that and just bearing witness in that, I just know in myself that okay, we make change outside by doing it within, right? So with this egregore, it's all consuming because then they just think that they're just a worker. They think that they just have to get up by an alarm, and it goes against your meridian. We're 108 star point light beings, so we know all of that and how that feels. So what I did was I just did a detox. So I'd um never dieted or done anything like that before, it's just love life and just seafood, eat it, and what I feel, what I need, and especially having so many babies, being pregnant so many years. So um I got up to a size 18, 20 through that lockdown and everything else, it was bliss for us. We were like, in a house on the beach, and we had the pool table. We didn't need to go to the pub or go anywhere because it was all there. So it was eat, drink, be merry. I never wore a mask. I always thought that the young ones needed to have a happy, smiley face through all of that, wherever you are. And yeah, then we came here, and then he's working and going through all of that. And so I got proactive, and I spirit led. Like, which one did you know? How did you know what to do? All this spirit led. And of course, not only learning about all the parasites of other people that are out there, or blood lineages or whatever and whatnot, parasites within us. So once I'd done the detox, it's just simply 9 days of loving myself. Just 9 days of loving myself through everything else. I just did it for me. And it's not even terrible. It's wonderful because you're actually loving yourself. So good, good, good. And it's just a smoothie each day, and then with the powder, and then a soup in the evening, and you just hydrate all the way. And it's the Celtic sea salt too. It's beautiful because we're so devoid of minerals. They've taken it out of our soil, out of our water, out of our food, And so I kind of joke because I'm Jenny from the block, nah. And it's like, these are the rocks that I got. And it's the Celtic sea salt. And you just get it, and you just pop it under your tongue, and it's a homeostasis. All homeopathy goes under the tongue. It goes into every single cell of your body. 97 minerals. I mean, joy. And you
Okay,
feel good.
okay. You've said a lot. I mean, there's a whole lot of code and a whole lot of information in what you're talking about. So as you started and you
Yum.
continued, you were talking about your personal journey and the correlation to the collective, and I would say the correlation to uh, um, expanded consciousness or greater awareness, code, intel, right? There's so many women
Mhm.
all over this planet that are tapped into what you're doing and doing the same thing. And that in itself, in its embodiment, is the highest level of energy, I would say, of change. When I say, anyway, let me go back. So
Mhm.
you were in that space in the, let's just say, the construct of the false matrix, well, terms, whatever.
Yeah, the
Okay, then you went to,
egregores.
then
Yeah,
you went
you
out
can
to the,
call it
yeah, then you went out to the
the
bush
Leviathan.
and
Yeah.
you're having kids the whole time. Okay, because we did a show, I
We
think we
don't
did
say
one,
kids though, because they're the
huh?
they're the offspring of goats. We're not goats. I've learned all about all the words too, Todd. Once you do that, it's another next level of lightening up. So
What
your
were,
body,
what
because
were
it's
we,
mind, body, soul. So we call them young ones.
who? The kids?
our children.
Okay, the young ones.
We
All right.
call them young ones because kid, I used to too, because I didn't know. You see, we do as we do because we're just love. But when you know the spell casting, when you know how important the word is, it's biblical and says it all starts with the word. So this is of your good standing. So we learn the differences of and the true meaning of words, and it just lightens it up. So, you know, oh, you might have heard, of course, how everyone says nice all the time, blank it out for everything. Nice actually means to be foolish or arrogant. It doesn't, it's down the end of the line, only newly thought to be maybe called pleasant. So instead of saying nice, say pleasant. And then you'll say more different words for things because everybody's calling everything nice, like this nice, that nice. And it's not, that's not foolish or arrogant. So people don't realize the spells they're putting and trespassing upon people without the knowing, you see? So the words really do matter. So the same
Well,
thing for the word smart. Mm? Smart.
hmm.
Smart actually means to cause pain. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It smarts. We used to say it and then we didn't. And then now they've just brought that word in, blanket everywhere. Well, they're telling you that those devices, anything with smart on it, is to cause pain. So if you go into this is all legalese speak that's been blanketed out over
Yeah, but
us.
yeah, hang on, because you're like going. I go like 111 miles an hour. You're going like 11 miles an hour. And I get you. I get the code. I get the frequency. I totally get it. And even some of the things you're talking about, I think, there's a lot of stuff. We're all coming into different levels of consciousness. We have multi streams occurring that involve all that's behind us, all that's before us, so to speak, and all that's present. And the present you mentioned. But what I was getting at is in terms of like what's happening to you. What has
Yeah.
happened to you? Because I saw you in 2019. We did other collaborations. We stayed in contact for a bit. And you did, I remember in the episode, um, you gave us an example or like of a healing with on a table. I don't know if you had somebody on the table or you were showing us what you were doing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
The
So
touch,
what I'm
the
saying is
importance of
like
touch.
I don't think a lot of
Mhm.
people caught that. And believe me,
Yeah.
I saw your energy then, I saw your light then,
Mhm.
a beautiful feminine energy and so on. And you were talking about, and so that was 2019. You're talking about in 2020 when COVID came and that whole
Yeah.
thing, right? What happened to you? And you got up to what did you say, an 18 or 20? I don't know what that means, but women will. But my point is, you look vivacious, you look young, you feel clear, and I feel like that the frequency, the message, the coding is coming through more in like what you're projecting, what you're emitting versus how you did it. I think that's very important because I feel like how you did it, there's a commonality between us all. But to me, like the proof's in the pudding. Like lead by example, your energy speaks for itself kind of thing.
Oh, look,
So
$100
I'm
was.
just curious. I'm curious about this.
Mm,
Morgan and I
yeah.
were actually just talking about this last night. How to go through all of this stuff that we're going through that we've been talking about, let's just say from 2012, okay? And where we're at now, and doing that with multiple people in your household. You had a whole passel of kids, a partner, and boom, 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 while you're still doing all of this. And then now you've blossomed or you've gained independence or something's happened to you where
Yeah.
you've taken in the energies that have come to you and
Honestly.
transformed them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I
It's
should
mind,
just
body,
maybe
soul.
maybe
It's mind,
huh?
body, soul.
Yeah, maybe let me ask you this way. Let me try to because I love to try to
It
like merge
unblocked
the human and the soul.
everything. Todd, it unblocked everything. Getting rid of it wasn't just like clearly parasites because we all do a worming,
So
but then
when so when so okay,
it's
so when
more
did you
than that.
do
Yeah.
that? So when did
And
you do that sequentially, like chronologically? Like you it was you went from that place to the bush, we
yeah.
talked, and then you went somewhere else where you're at now. And at some point you did
No, this is
this
it. This is
nine
our
day
approach. This is
this
it. That's
right?
the bus. I live here now.
Where?
Back out bush at the block. So
Okay.
Damo works at the gin and he
Okay.
lives at the cotton gin house.
Okay.
So he lives at the house. I live
I got
here.
you. I got you. Okay. Cool. Right.
So we've done that. I liken it to a washing machine. My gorgeous girlfriend Sharon in Tasmania. She's been on the just been there with me through this journey, and it's biblical, and she knows the Bible inside and out. So every time I had an adventure, because this last year, as Morgan knows, I've gone in and out of the bush to the beach. So I'll live
Hmm.
2 months here, and then I'll live 2 months on the beach, and then I'll come back. It's the first time that I ever had to myself, Todd, since
So
28 years
you're
of being a
basically in
mom.
you're in your own space all the time after being a mother of many and a partner and such.
For
And
nearly 30
how long
years.
has that been going on? Because a lot of people have been talking about the isolation, the solitude, the silence, and the peace that comes with it
Uh-huh. It's
for,
heaven.
for a while, I think.
Yeah. It what it does is it alleviates all that doesn't serve you. So it doesn't mean to say that just because you're not a mum 24/7, I mean they're grown now, they're in their 20s and whatnot, and I still have teenagers. But it's not as if you stop being mum. I was literally the stay-at-home mum, day and night, there for Bubby's thing everywhere. This year is the catalyst year, or last year. I Time is not real, so the old Gregorian is it's a way that we can all get to one point together, I guess, to remember something or whatever. But it's not actually real. We're on a continuum, so it's a journey through the solar system. And when you release all of that you've been indoctrinated with and everything else, you realize that it's amazing. It's like putting a backpack of everything that has been told or taught or all this stuff, and you're literally just taking it off and putting it somewhere. You find some beautiful space for it and just have a go and see what it's like to just walk around without it. And you do that every weekend. You do that on a Friday. You do that on a this day. Do it every day, and you'll start to stop thinking that way, and things just change outside then because you're changing it inside. So for me though, spoiled as you know, Damo working, so I'm able to be the stay-at-home mum, having been a nanny overseas. So very good for me, and astute. So I'd always be having some interest in something somewhere because we're instruments, we're beautiful sonic instruments, and we do get interest in certain things and that, and then we may not, and put it down and find something else. And these are the breadcrumbs, these are the golden parts, and we get, and being aware and of your surroundings,
Yeah.
what's
But
happening, you pick it up, you know?
yeah. No,
It's a progression itself.
I can relate to what you're saying. And in these 37 and 38 episodes, one thing has been said quite a bit, which is I don't know how you would say it. Okay, so like, hey, what's going on? Oh my God, something's going on. Like it's so prolific. It's so, there's a vast array of different streams or whatever. I can't even describe it. So that's what I've heard a lot. Um, And I feel like, and maybe it's my own thing, right? How to get further down the path of merging my human and my soul. You might say that. And I see
It's
things
already
that,
there, Todd. It's
huh?
already there. The only
Yeah, I
thing
know, I
that's
know, I
not,
know, but
yeah,
hear
it,
me out, because I think you have something to offer here. No, I'm serious.
yeah.
Because no, seriously, because think about it. Facebook, as an example, energetically, what we project versus what we are. I mean, it's all the same thing. So what I'm trying to say is this. I feel that and I'm not saying I'm right, but I feel like the golden code is in the human retelling, the human storytelling. Think of oral history and all the stuff that, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
so my question to you, and I think really to myself and what what I feel like we're moving towards or something like that is, how do you say it? Like, I get your frequency. I get your vibration. It's balls out. I can totally see it. I think there's a lot of feminine that are out there holding this, and men too, but I'm just saying it's the proof's in the pudding, right? And they're starting to come out and talk about it, but it's not the same language. But one thing I think everyone can relate to is, are there things that you've gone through and go through that are very human, that take confrontation into all of your emotions, etc., the things, the human condition? And is there a relation between that and your higher and higher density?
Uh, ah. So for me, when I hear then you speak, because I know what those words mean, the actual words. So human, hue is a shade, and man is mind. So when you have a shade of mind, so you may be in a different state. That state is not the state you live in, like New South Wales, Queensland, or anything like that. That's what they put on you because they know that it all comes from inside. And it's the state of how you are feeling. Your feelings are absolutely incredible. They are your powerhouse. It's about breathing through certain ones and then feeling the feelings and kind of eating them up until like the whole bowl's finished. Lick the bowl, like get it done, and then and then
Lick the bowl.
and then
So
you're like,
so that's what I'm
it
saying. So there is a,
and then things don't
I love
affect
that.
you.
Lick the
Like
bowl, lick the bowl. Uh,
lick the bowl
but
clean.
so you are saying this. I think I feel.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, wait,
it's
I
a
mean, what I'm
progress.
saying is, like, you're saying there is a direct correlation from feeling what you feel, taking
Mm.
in the emotion without resistance, and what did you say, breathing through it, and sometimes you, but always feel it. There's a direct
Yes,
correlation. What you're saying is, in your personal experience and the intel that you're offering, to that, and to a greater, what would you say, a higher frequency, bliss, joy, synchronicity, et cetera, et cetera. Is that what you're saying?
yes. So you have to imagine. I mean, we all know. I don't. The the beauty and grace and the feeling like when you're young and you're excited for your birthday or Christmas and it's all that, and that's how it is naturally. That's how we are naturally. So somehow through the system they've coordinated and put that together so that you only seem to think that you're only going to feel that at these certain times or these certain trajectories, these sort of holiday events and this, that, and the other. But in actual fact, we're run by the solar system. That's our true gauge. And the severance upon emergence, which is you would think when you're born, but you're not born, you're not birthed. That's the placenta. That's their speak. They've taken over the English. We're not speaking thou out thy now, are we? So we're speaking legalese. So when you realize this and you start speaking the right words, it changes because something happens, a resonance, a sonnage inside of yourself, and you start to move away from the lowest density frequency, which is actually the sin line. You're not dead as sinners. No one is. That's just the sin wave. That's the first wave. It's the lowest. And they keep pushing everyone down there with the, as we know, the frequency hurts, the this, the that, the egregore, everything, the food, no depletion of your minerals, everything. They try.
But how
And the
much?
reason
I'm
why
just,
they're doing it is because if everybody was healthy, happy, and living in bliss and living until they're 800 or 1,000 years old.
but here's the thing. Have we, I'm asking a question. Have we
Yeah.
arrived to a point where we know all that? And can we give ourselves some degree of, I don't know, credit, something like that? Uh,
Oh,
we spent
yeah.
some,
Feel the
hang on.
pride.
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is, look, GMOs, fluoride, chemtrails, et cetera, programming, TV programming, Netflix, all that shit. We're expanding through this. And that's the part where I'm like, trying to like, research, trying to discover. But it seems to be tied in to what you were talking about with the emotions, like, like, I don't know, I'll paraphrase what I got from you, which was basically, they're a part of you. They're an organic part of you. They're a physical part of you.
Oh, yeah, that's your
Let
knowing.
them,
That's
yeah,
your
let them, you
knowing.
know what I
Straight
mean?
up,
Like,
that's
let
your
them,
knowing. Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's your knowing. Feelings are your knowing. That's it. See, they take away pattern recognitioning away from the school system too young. So kinder kids and all that sort of, or kids, see, say that, no, the young ones are being corralled into these establishments where they're molded in their mind for 12 years. You put them in there for that long. It's just the same as when I speak about Damo having to go to the work and do 12-hour days, 12-hour long, this, it's all that. It's that time of development of the neurons and everything. And so instead of the neurons just being able to be their own selves and do what they naturally do, they get suppressed and sideswiped and all the rest of it. And so, they're making generations of couch potatoes or this and that and the other by design. It's not anybody's fault. But the way that you
Uh,
can get out
But
of it
get out of it.
is, yeah, yeah, to get out of it is to
Well, I
absolutely
mean,
step
I mean,
away
but
from
look,
all of
look,
that.
look,
Do everything
this
different.
is the
Make your
thing, right?
brain think.
Yeah, I get this. I mean, I'm totally getting this, but there's a whole nother
It's all
technology.
neon.
There's a whole nother level of awareness and consciousness that's at play here that isn't tied to the old narratives, that isn't tied to the pharmaceutical industry, it isn't tied to the fucking governments, the Vatican, all that bullshit. It's
Nah,
beyond
nah.
that. It's almost
It's
like
its own.
we can see all this. So if we're
Mhm.
here to embody, then let's be all this and cut the fucking bullshit, which is part of the bullshit to me. And I'm not saying this in a way to throw shade at you at all. I'm just trying to say I jumped back into a new podcast. I left everything behind, even something called Soulgy. And I want to go into this space and say, we are souls in form. And fuck these narratives. Fuck them. You know what I
Exactly,
mean? Like
exactly.
just
Don't
do
put
your
interest
thing,
into
be who
any of
you
it.
are, be who you
Absolutely.
are in reverence
Yeah,
and
yeah. And
understand that,
everyone does that. Boom, baby.
I just heard the last baby. But no, seriously, I'm like, this is where I'm looking, this is where I'm digging for gold, I guess, within myself, my partner, our relationship, you right now, every opportunity I have to share sacred space. And I say this in the deepest, most meaningful way I could, which is to say, what did you really do? Because everyone's telling me what to do. But what
Yeah.
did you do? That's why I said like the what you found out about your diet and the smoothie, that may not be what works for everyone, but you know what? It worked for you, and that's all that fucking matters. Because it's about
Oh,
how much you're eliminating, how
and Todd,
you're
though,
expressing.
it's not just a smoothie or anything. It's what it did was that's just the start. So it because when you put on weight as a woman, you get big chunks, you know, and so big chunks were coming away. Todd, this heavy metal detox wasn't just a detox; it's a heavy metal detox, and people were laughing because Damo likes heavy metal. And it's like, yeah, I'm having a heavy metal detox in the real. So, to get away from that heaviness, the sounding, the this, to know when to move aside, all of these sorts of things, to know when it's not your own, to know that people are projecting, to know that people are full of shit, like literally walking around full of shit. Because after that 9 days of loving yourself, lots of massage, lots of I love yous, you've fallen in love with yourself. You're just like, oh, you can do it, girl. Oh, you're amazing. You know, really be your best friend. And you go through it, lots of hydrotherapy and movement for your lymphatic system and that. Big chunks are coming away and that. It's like unlocking the blocks and they just come away, all of those heavy metals. You might have migraines or anything. The Celtic sea salt, put it under your tongue, it'll go away within 10 seconds. It's all mineral deficiencies in that, and your body literally loves you so much and just wants you to come back home. So we're never ever homeless. You and I, Todd, have never been homeless, darling. We've only ever been houseless. We're always home.
I think that was the Mandela effect or deja vu because I think you said that to me in 2019. Um, yeah, here to
That's
everything
it.
you're saying.
Always.
I think
Yeah, they will say and do whatever they can to make you feel bad.
yeah, but
So what
this
you
is
do is you do whatever you can to make yourself feel good,
yeah,
and then it's inevitable as the sunrise.
because
It is
yes,
inevitable.
because the
And
truth
we
comes.
are here for this,
Yes.
as in even the whole time we were denied from the first cut. You know the song, the first cut is the deepest. And once you know all this stuff, you can hear it everywhere. So many stars, we are stars. Other fellow stars have been trying to tell us through it in their music and everything else
Yeah,
as well.
but the
Yeah,
thing
so
is,
basically, yeah,
huh?
you don't ever cut the umbilical cord, ever.
We
So
can't
all your mummies and everyone out there, don't ever
we
cut it. It
can't
takes
cut.
3 to 4 days to drop off naturally. That is, this is, look at this, Todd. I'll show you. Look at the transformation.
Uh,
Look at this gorgeous body. Right, look at this. The one that gave
are
to so
you
many.
gonna
How do I do it? There. Look at
hang on?
this.
I mean, yeah. You lost
Yeah.
you were
Okay.
I don't know weight in kilograms. I always struggle with Morgan, but you were an 18 or 20 is what you said,
Yes,
I
I'm
think.
size
Okay.
10 now.
Okay.
So it
All right.
all just worked, and I'm strong,
Good. You're doing good. You're doing great.
strong. And
You're doing
this is
great.
this is just from living. It's not, it's
Yeah.
from your mind is incredible. So if I wanted to grow wings, I'm sure once I get
Pro
there,
wings.
I'll just start growing feathers. It's all good.
So, okay. So, okay, I'm just trying to
You
pick
got
your
to
brain.
unblock the blocks. You got to unblock your
Yeah.
blocks. They've done it to everyone. And the
They, who's
first one,
they? I don't want to talk about they. I want to talk about
no,
you.
I
I want to
know,
talk.
I know.
No, listen,
Okay, so
hear me
we
out.
we do it. We do it to ourselves. We have to love ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to love ourselves. That's
Yes.
what it is.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
falling madly,
I,
deeply, truly in love with yourself. Mm.
I feel like, okay, let me come in another direction. We all know where we're going because we know where we want to go. And there's a relationship happening with our worthiness and love for ourselves that's aligning with that.
Mm.
There's a lot of talk about what's happened, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there's a space in between where we create the way. And like you said about that backpack thing, right? Like you
Yes.
just put it over here and you leave it there. And like it seems like more and more every day we're faced with that. And it's very personal. There's no one you got to go convince, and it wouldn't matter anyway. But it's like
No.
it like what your story
Um,
to me is, like your story to me, like at first blush. You talk about the smoothie, obviously you're working out. I mean, you talk about and of course the dramatic physical change over this period.
walking, just
But to
walking and stuff,
me,
all
like
the natural
to
things.
to me, what's really coming out, and I don't really describe it as a way that we normally would describe things, but I would say it like this, is here, somewhere here. And when I say here, I mean the heart, mind, somewhere here you said, or even maybe it's just the mind, where you just go, you know what, fuck it, I've had enough. This is what I'm doing. Period. And there's no like, oh, I got to have this discipline and I've got to, it's just like, you know what? I've enough. And I'm going to listen to my body and I'm going to just go and see what happens. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
space we're in, and that's where the gold is when we can talk to people like you who have made these incredible transformations that so many people can relate to. I feel in one way or the other. I mean, everything's proportionate to our own experience, but um, yeah, that's what I don't see on X. I don't see that on YouTube. I don't see it on Facebook. I don't see it on any fucking thing. Nothing. I don't see that
Well, it's
storytelling,
sad
real
because
time
it
intel that
unlocks
we're creating new oh, sorry.
everything. It unlocks everything. So that's just the beginning, Todd, because I did that 18 months ago. So I've lost over 40 kilos in 18 months naturally, which is beautiful because then you don't need any surgeries or anything. That's all just placed upon us because there's this connotation that everything has to be quick and now and all this sort of stuff.
Hmm,
It's not. To live in the now, you have to be still.
hmm.
So it's just a beautiful surrender to all that is and for self, and then to journey and to walk the path with very little and to surrender to it all and to just know. I mean, last year was the first time I'd ever had time away from my young ones. I'd never ever been away from them for more than 10 days before in nearly 30 years. So
Yeah.
huge, insurmountable changes. I think lots of women would
So
um,
let me
know
try.
that
Lots of women.
being a stay-at-home mum, yeah, being a stay-at-home mum for,
Oh yeah. Well,
20,
being a
30
woman,
years or
period,
something,
I
and
think
then
that's
there's a
been a
new
big part of
stage.
the, I think that's been a part of the conscious expansion in the last 12 or 13 years has been what a woman has been like, because we got to go back 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
In some countries, they couldn't vote. But I was going to say to you or ask you one more time, like you were saying how beautiful the whole unfoldment is. And I believe a lot of us,
Mhm.
if not all of us, can relate to that. But at the same time, there seems to be something running right next to it. And I want to go back to the emotions, to the personal journey, to the being curled up in a fetal position, not because we're in victim consciousness, but because I feel like over the past 12, prior to this year, that a lot of the stories, me included, whoever, whatever, has been about, oh, yeah, again, this is what you do, this is what, but there's a human part of it that can't be missed. And looking at you and talking to others and meeting with my partner and seeing what we've gone through and this and that, that when we open to the full range of emotions like you were talking to about before, bottom line being there's a direct correlation to expansion in tandem with the origination place, which is to go into that space. And we
Yes.
used to call it shadow work,
Yes.
but I'm going to say it's
Yeah.
more of saying, okay, not only am I going to look at this, but I'm going to take this raw material in its consciousness and I'm going to alchemize it. And that's kind of the place that I think maybe is forming, almost like a fertile field of the mother goddess's yoni, and we're going to start sprouting, or you know what I mean? But yeah, have
Yes,
you?
this is
Let me just
it.
say, have you?
Mm.
Do you go through some deep human stuff where the 5D and multi-D leaves and you're going, fuck. Even if it's for an hour, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if
Not
you get
now.
triggered.
No, 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 not now,
Not at
Todd.
all.
It's
Not
very
at all.
different. No,
Mm.
I have to go through a little step with you first. So, um, basically, the reason why everyone is walking around this place lost or this or that or hurt, confused, all of that, everything. It's not just the parasites and everything, and you have to have a cleansed body and your minerals and stuff. It's actually been put on us, and this is what I did want to say because it's important, especially the women, because the prophecy is that when the Western women wake up, everything stops, and this is what's happened. It's already happened.
That's the Dalai
So,
Lama. Morgan's told me that a few times, but I
or
don't consider that a full blown universal
just
prophecy.
happening. Yeah, it's just
Especially
happening.
when you consider there's
So,
only male leaders of
words.
religions to include the
Mm,
Buddhists.
You got to say the right thing. You see, you have to speak. You become what you speak. So when people are saying things about others or derogatory about themselves or anything else, it shows it's inside of them and it becomes poison. And so we unblock all of that and we be conscious of what we speak because our tongue comes from our heart. When we're in utero, it's the first thing that comes away. That's our tongue. So we speak from the heart. Our teeth are connected to our heartstrings.
So would you say
And
that
so
part of your journey has, because
the
I
health
know
is
it's
everything.
multifaceted, but has been, are you in a place or where are you at with
It was,
judgment or non-judgment with anyone and anything?
um,
No
oh,
bullshit,
look,
straight up.
I'm just, I'm still me. Like I've always been, um, kind and courteous and can see the higher part. So I've always been like that anyway. I've never been one to say nasty things about people or to people or anything. I'm just not like that. So, yeah, that's that lower level stuff. And we've been having to be in amongst people like that. And it's sad because that's what makes us sad, you know? So I have been through that in that sense. It used to hurt me and stuff, and I used to take it personally. But you go through your journey in that and you realize that it's just them. That's how they feel about themselves. That's what's inside of them. So then you're able to, it doesn't affect you anymore. It's like water off a duck's back. And it does affect you for a while because you're like, oh, please don't talk like that. Do you know that your words are important? Why would you say that? Why do you speak to yourself like that? Why? Because you love them. You love everyone. And it's not until they do their own journey themselves that and they have to do it their own selves. You can't do it for them. And you can help guide them if they so choose and say yes and that. But even then, you're fighting the parasites because on day 3, day 4, the parasites have been located and all the heavy metals have been located. And if they need to really go inside of themselves and start finding that place. And if they don't, then it's just the parasites speaking, you know, oh, I want to stop this. What are we doing? Oh, you said this. It's all crap. It's just the parasites.
Would you
And when
say that
you
is another
because
way
it's
to
not
say,
them. We're all pure, Todd.
yeah, I
We're all
mean,
pure.
yes, I know. I feel that. I think we all feel that. And I'm saying
Mm.
like that we know we came from, that we know we're going to, that we are coming to know that we are. But somewhere between where I'm at, where you're at, and there is this void, not in a bad way. Like I would call it the holy darkness of Mother Universe's womb. Like and to me, the human being journey is where the code is in in alignment with the soul intelligence or the infinite intelligence coming in downloads channels whatever. So yeah, I'm like, okay, okay, like with you, I have, several kids. You have several kids. Maybe we can look at it this way. You talked about you have naturally unfolded to an existence with your family, still with your partner, still with your relationships and connections with
I'm
your
not I'm
children.
not with Damo anymore though, but we're
Oh,
we're learning to be friends.
oh, okay, okay. I
There was a
misunderstood.
catalyst,
Yeah.
yeah, and there was a catalyst a little bit there.
What do you
Um,
mean?
well, this time last year, sort of thing, there was a bit of a catalyst. So, because as women, we keep giving and we're still there. And so he was changing, metamorphosing into this chemical induced someone that I didn't know or recognize, and he didn't even know or recognize himself. And that's the nature of the beast, of the egregore of the workplace.
I don't.
Four
Let's
four
pause.
years of
No, no, let's
poison with
pause. Let's
cotton.
pause. And the only reason I want to pause is because there's someone else involved. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah,
I want to stay as sacred as possible without judgment or anything.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Without prejudice and
Yeah.
bias. I think the
No.
gold is. Yeah,
Oh
look.
no,
Huh?
we are being friends. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
No,
Like I've
I
had
totally.
my
I totally
no, no,
appreciate
no.
that.
He's
That's a
coming to the
phenomenal
party, Todd.
feat.
He's coming to
Hmm?
the party, Todd.
What
So
party?
as you rise inside of yourself, because to me that wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. Just the um to just settle with with crap and just just to
Okay.
be like that. That's not good enough. That's not honoring your family, everything else, just like you say, right? So I
Well,
stepped away from it.
ultimately, you're honoring yourself, and that's really what we're all learning
Yes,
because that really is
yeah,
the greatest way we can
yeah,
serve anyone else be beyond us. That's the Trinity energy.
yeah,
I serve
yeah,
myself by serving
yeah.
myself, but somehow or another in the real geometry, there's a direct thing that happens where I'm serving you best and serving the collective best. You know.
Yes. Well, he's now seen the light,
Mm,
and this year has been absolutely insurmountable for me and my growth and everything
mm,
else,
mm,
and for him also inadvertently. I mean, he's the one that you had to prove to him that there's spirit by finding a
mm.
lonesome apple tree on the side of the road because you didn't have apples for your apple pie that day, you know?
So he's gone. He's gone woo woo.
So, so now well, he is in the sense of like, I got to get out of there. It's ruining everything, his
Um.
health,
Yeah.
everything. So he's wanting to have a change.
Yeah.
He's realized things. He's started doing the good work because I said to him, you never hurt yourself when you do the good work. So he started doing the good work again,
Mm,
which is, our own kingdom,
mm,
you know,
mm,
because that's what it is. Just like you say, it's sacred. It is. And we are. And we are meant to live together as family, and we're meant to have a village around us. This is actually our natural way of course,
mm-hmm.
and meant to have a symbiotic relationship with
Mm,
all that is the flora, the
mm,
fauna, the
mm,
sun,
mm.
the cycles, everything that
Each
was
other.
severed from us. This is what I want to tell you, Todd. That was
Mm,
severed from us upon emergence.
mm,
So there's a like the cattle run, they just chop off the umbilical cord with all those beautiful veins and everything that are still doing their thing in there, all the stem cells, all the beautiful stardust, and they're bagging and tagging it as biohazard waste. And then they're putting it into placenta banks at the private hospitals for
mm,
their own cells. So they can go in there and they can have a wound clear and heal within 24 hours that would take us weeks or months. It's theft.
mm.
That's our biological twin, is our placenta.
Mm,
We as the women are to weave baskets. It's a sacred thing. We weave the basket so that the placenta can go into the basket. And we have the certain types of herbs, and we know the herbs, and we grow the herbs through the moon cycles, all of the solar system. Everything here is based on the 28-day menstrual cycle of women.
mm,
That's it, full stop.
mm,
And
mm,
it keeps going just like the turtle's back.
Yeah.
So, in actual fact, your age now, Todd, is only signifying and telling you that you've been ripped off that
Man, I'm
many
not, see,
months.
I can't,
No,
that,
you've been ripped off that many
I
months.
can't
You're
relate to
actually
that
younger
shit. I
than you think
cannot
you are.
relate to
It's
that
a good
shit.
thing, Todd. It's a
I
good thing,
can't.
Todd.
I
I'm just
can't.
telling
I am
you.
soul. I'm an eternal being. This is soul.
Exactly. Ageless, timeless, and
That's what
continuum. But that's how
I,
much they try to race everyone
who's they?
through.
There are counterparts. There are
Exactly.
playmates.
Let's all
We
just stand up.
organize and
It's
created
ours.
this
Let's
thing.
do it. Let's stop playing this game. Exactly. Let's stop
Huh?
playing this game and
This,
just be.
we made the
Absolutely,
game.
Todd.
You know? I mean, it's crazy what's happening here. Talking about it's crazy. I mean, you can
But think
feel
about
the,
it. You get to
huh?
have your umbilical cord for the first 3 to 4 days of your life until it naturally drops off. You're nursed and loved and cherished. What happens with that umbilical cord is it actually goes and retracts into your body and makes your spine longer or your tendons longer, all of these things. It's got its own natural way of doing things. They're taking that and they're making cosmetics and this, that, and the other. So in actual fact, yeah, we do. We have to step away from all of that and just be.
Well, it doesn't, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't take away from the pure code of what you're talking about in terms of the reality of the physical and the non-physical meeting and the relationship between the womb producing a universe we call a child, our young ones, like you said, and the umbilical cord.
Mm,
I mean, there's
mm.
no question about that. But I feel like the field we're in is beyond physical. It's beyond intellect. We're in
That's
this
it.
space.
The umbilical cord is a spiritual cord, Todd. It's very important.
Yeah,
And so they're
hey,
doing that,
I'm with
like
you.
you say, in the
Yeah.
body, in the matter, because in actual fact, everything is spiritual. The whole thing is. Their whole thing is ethical. So, but when we come down here onto the denser plane, it's the Garden of Eden. And when you are severed from that young, the body goes into shock, and then the spirit and that, and then they
I mean,
know,
yeah, I
oh,
mean, we
we're
can talk
here
about that.
in a
That's
different
just part
space
of it.
than what we should be.
We can talk about the
So let's
vaccinations they
start
receive in the
taking
first
our
hour.
birthing
You know what I
back.
mean?
Yeah, we just got to start
I mean,
taking our birthing back.
yeah, I think my thing is for me, and I hate this.
You've got to go to that solar. That's your solar plex, Todd.
Yes.
This is a part of it, okay? So I did the detox,
Mm.
right? I learnt the right words, right? Etymology dictionary online, all true meanings of words, right? So no more spell casting, good health, no more parasites. And then spiritually speaking, I got shown all of this, all of that, and was reconnected to everything that is. So, in actual fact, when we have our bubbies, our beautiful, beautiful sacred beings, when they come in and we give them that grace for those 3 or 4 days, we will have young ones that will be taller, more intelligent, more remember. That cutting of that cord is making people forget that act that they do. So, in actual fact, yes, we need to step away from the system ASAP and just go back to basics,
But in the
which is
meantime, let's just be and
incredible.
do. Let's not get caught
Oh,
up in
there you
tomorrow and
go.
all. No, I'm serious because I mean it's too big of a picture. It's too complicated. And if you talk
That's
about
actually
the,
really simple. Do you know how to weave a
huh?
basket? No, that's not for you. You're a man's business.
No,
You're the
bullshit.
business of the
I'm a
stars.
soul. No. Look, if we think that the fuckery has only begun with the separation of the placenta at a very very quickly, not to mention the vaccines that they receive within an hour. If we think that's the level,
Oh,
the
we can
lowest
heal from
level, if
everything.
we think
Yeah.
that's the lowest level of the fuckery, we're not awake yet. It goes way beyond that. We're talking DNA and all that stuff. But look, we are spiritual beings coming into our own awareness of our multidimensionality, and we have the power to do anything at any time. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the frequencies or the band of frequencies I want to play in because the stories are the stories and they don't matter nothing because
Mhm.
all that matters is right now in this present moment and the information and the coding and knowledge that it's given us to make a new choice at this point without limitation. So,
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's incredible. So everybody has their own little shard. Like I call it,
mm,
we're all one massive mosaic, yeah? And we're all a shard piece. And so
mm,
when we actually get into that self and it's incredible because what we're doing
mm,
is we're shifting, it's neurological as well. We're actually shifting from the 10% of logic in the brain to the 90%. And the 90% isn't more of that 10%.
no,
No way. It steps completely away from all of that. It goes into your consciousness and you are you.
yeah, yeah,
And when you do that, you have access to all of that, what you need at any time, at any space, but it's
that's
in
right.
your own
That's right.
own voice. It's in
That's
your
exactly right.
own. Everyone has their own.
That's
And so
exactly right.
when we go together with these things, right? And I come and I hug you and you hug me, and all of that that I know will directly transfer from my biosphere and my knowing
Yes.
into yours.
Well,
And it is a greeting of the gods.
mm,
So it's a nod of the gods because we are a direct representation of what all that is, of our beautiful
yes.
creator.
Man,
We
you're
are
on
a little
fire.
star.
Well, I'm sorry we got started late. I'm gonna have to cut out. But yeah, I totally, I'm with you on this. I mean, the bottom line is, I said this for many years, but I think it means a different thing now, like walk the talk, and not like in some egoic way or some cocky way or some, too proud way, but like you were talking about earlier, where, hey, it is what it is. The energy is going to speak for itself, and yeah, something is happening with language. And I think it is part of the universal transition or whatever you want to call it. So whether some people go look at etymology.com, and
Mm,
I love the roots of words, or not,
yes.
there's something happening where
It
we're
helps.
beginning to communicate way
Yes.
beyond the words we speak. Even if they come out wrong, we can still read the field. And I think that's something that's affecting people, at least a strong minority of people. I mean, I really believe we're
Yeah.
probably all
Well,
beating at the
it's
same
being aware.
vibration. It just doesn't look that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's being aware. And you know, you go, I mean, there's no traffic lights here or anything like that. This is like peace and bliss. Uh, but even when you go into a space that's like that, like the trees, they get really excited when the winds comes through and the cyclone or the rains or stuff like that. They get really excited. They just go through it. It's the same no matter what happens wherever you are. So you have a choice. You always have a choice, and you know it. And you're sitting there, and then you just choose, like, oh, fuck it, I'll just be like that. Well, no, because it's not good. And it's not good for you, and it's not good for the other one.
Mm.
And so we need to be mindful, and that's a start. And then you'll get on your little way with the golden parts. And every time that something that doesn't serve you goes away, more goodness comes, and it's incredible. You just become this light vessel. Do you remember after I had my kundalini like that 5 or 6 years ago on the Gregorian, because it was just a go. I felt like for those 10 days, remember, Todd, that I was a walking marshmallow. So high vibe,
I did a lot
everything
of
was
shows. I can't
light.
remember that,
Well,
but I
well,
know what you're
that's
talking
that's how
about.
I
I know what you're
felt.
talking
I
about.
remember.
Yeah,
Well, it's like that, except for it's embodied now.
yeah. Well,
So
embodying. I'm going to say
it takes,
embodying,
it does, it takes
because
its
at this
process.
point in
It's like
time
a
in
little
2025, I
seed.
don't care if I'm sitting across from Jesus. I'm going to say embodying. Even if Jesus tells me I'm embodying, I'm going to be like, no, you're embodying, because this is a
It's
whole
like a
different
little
ball game.
seed.
Hey,
Yeah, and it
listen,
takes
it
time
was
for it to
great.
grow.
It was great getting together with you. You look
You too,
fantastic.
Todd. Oh,
Bless,
thank you, darling.
blessings of
Feeling
grace to you and
amazing.
your
Absolutely
beautiful big
amazing.
family, and
Oh,
uh,
thank you.
keep on
We're doing
trucking.
the good work. It's called the good work, Todd.
That's right. We're the living
Yeah,
word. That's right.
yes.
My
And it's
brother
not for
tells
us
me,
to instigate
my
anybody
older brother
else's.
tells me all the time, we're not nouns, we're a verb, and I totally agree with that. When I reawoke, that was really what I felt. Um, faith, the transitive verb to trust and believe. I've always, that's, I don't
I
know.
love
You
it.
can't really describe
Yeah,
what's happening or,
living
you
in
know,
motion. Living
huh?
in motion, and our
Yeah.
emotions are amazing and they're
Yes.
sacred,
There's
and you
definitely
go
a,
through it.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely a
because you can't
correlation
go
between
over it,
emotion, the word emotion and motion, right?
can't go under it, you can't go around it. You got to go through it.
Go with it.
Well,
I go with it.
yeah. Yeah, there you go.
You
That's
were talking
beautiful,
about
Todd.
merging, basically. You were talking about merging and how we can do that as a god, a goddess, and so on. But the reality is, we're always merging, or at least having the
Yeah.
potential to merge. So it
Well,
depends on the
that's
level of
correct. Like you do a
resistance or
detox,
judgment,
but your
etc.
body's
You know?
still detoxing. It never stops detoxing.
Yeah.
Exactly. You are so right, Todd. It's beautiful. And that's right.
Yeah.
It's like I did the detox in May,
Mm,
18 months ago. And then I did another one, a tea blend one at Christmas. And but the thing
mm,
is that it doesn't just stop once you stop taking the detox, it keeps going. It's just giving your body, your mind, or your spirit that little clearance to be able to
mm.
work the way that it's intended
Yeah. Yeah.
for you. And it's a beautiful thing. But I highly recommend that everybody, even after today, stay away from tap water and get your filtration set up, because we are living waters running through us. We're electrical beings, and get some of this. This is the good stuff. It's only produced or harvested
Mm,
once a year. So get in and get some while you can, and that will last me a whole year. And
mm,
it's just so good because these minerals regrow bone, really good for your eyes. Your hair will get more color, everything, it all comes back. We are actually ageless, like you say, and timeless. And
mm.
you are what you
Yes.
think, you are what you eat, and you are
You
what
know
you
what?
speak.
Yes, that's right.
It's called doing the work.
That's why I'm good with not waking up tomorrow morning or waking up and being grateful for the day that I've woken up to. Because there's nothing else. All these, you know what I mean? It's just like, no, it's too much information. TMI. I just want to be naked on the beach with my beautiful
Exactly.
wife.
And just to be able to discern. Yeah, just to discern. And it's not healthy for the mind to do that anyway, because we're only supposed to see, I don't know, not even more than 100 people a day. That's how
Mm,
we're designed. And of course,
mm.
we're upgrading for all of that, but it can be too much. Just put
Yeah,
it down,
too much.
put it
TMI.
away. Turn off the Wi-Fi so you can
It's
sleep
like
well.
the the the
Mm.
false
No
matrix is
electricity here,
TMI. The other
Todd.
one's, yeah,
Woohoo!
simplicity. The other one's simplicity.
Simplicity. It
All
is.
right. You take care. All right. I'll see you when I see you on this side, the other side, or both. All right. You take care.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. You look great.